Deep in the Himalayan mountains lies Bhutan, an autonomous kingdom inhabited by a people who look back onto a martial history. The Bhutanese used to settle most conflicts with bow and arrow. Even today, most of the men still have a good command of this weapon. One of the best archers, however, is a woman. Tsering Choden shoots so well that she was selected to represent Bhutan at the Olympic Games. The quarrelsome times are well in the past. The battles of today serve more as a playful contest. These men practice each weekend for an upcoming duel with the neighboring village. Each hit is celebrated with dance and joy. Among the audience is 25-year-old Tsering Choden, the country's best female archer. A hit is a question of chance rather than precision. In this antiquated technique, strength has always been the decisive element.
They don't hold still when they shoot. They shoot with the movement. You cannot aim properly that way.
According to the tradition, only the men compete in these contests.
When they are playing, I feel like playing too because I am an archer. So I wanted to shoot like them, and I want to participate because I want to have some experience in that, but I don't think that they will allow a woman to shoot there also, plus they won't feel good if I join with them.
For months, Tsering Choden has been training for a contest in the capital Thimphu. There it will be decided which archers will compete in the Olympic Games. Her daily training takes 5 hours. It was very important to Tsering to visit her family before the deciding contest. If she were to qualify for the Olympics, she won't have time for her family. Here, she hopes to find the peace and quiet needed for the strenuous match.
Archery is a game where you can fight with the mental. You don't have to do physical contact. So it helps us to keep your mental very strong plus physical strong. My parents was against about women playing archery. They didn't want women to play archery, but and I want to play archery. And my brother was supporting me. I knew I was not good in study, so I wanted to play archery. After that, I was selected for a Bangkok game, and after a few months, my result was coming good, I was improving, and they said, okay then, fine, you can continue. Now, you have some talents in archery, if you don't have in studying also, then they accept.
Radi, Tsering Choden's native village, is close to the Chinese border. Bhutan is about the size of Switzerland, with approximately 700,000 inhabitants. A Nyingmapa monastery towers above the valley. Like most people in Bhutan, the religious community follows the teachings of Buddha. Most of the Bhutanese earn their living on agriculture, and Radi is no exception. Field work is hard, but no one goes hungry. Poverty, notorious in the southern neighbor India, is unknown in the villages of Bhutan. Television was introduced just a few years ago, but this satellite dish serves just as well to dry chili. For the last few decades, Bhutan has been experiencing a change. Like no other country in the world, Bhutan has been completely isolated until the 1960s. Now, the kingdom is gradually opening up. The mountain regions can only be reached on foot. 2/3 of the villages have not yet been connected to the road network. This too is part of everyday life, the betel nut, which, wrapped in a peppery leaf, has a stimulating effect similar to coffee and cigarettes. Many Bhutanese chew on the drug for breakfast. The house of Tsering Choden's elder sister Dicky. 2 rooms, a kitchen, electricity, and a telephone. Whenever she is in Radi, Tsering Choden lives here. She moved to the capital with her parents 8 years ago when her father, a police officer, was assigned there. At that time, Sister Dicky stayed here with her son and first husband. Aunt Amchi is distilling liquor, the so-called ara. A distillation of rice wine, it's drunk with appetite and frequency in Bhutan.
Do you still drink a lot of alcohol? No, not much. In fact, hardly at all.
Aunt Amchi walked the 6 miles from her home in the mountains to see her beloved niece. Rice is the main nourishment. Bhutanese eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with lots of vegetables and hardly any meat. Tsering's nephew Rintin is 6. He's from her sister's first marriage. Dicky's new husband is called Sonam. He too would move to the capital if he could get a better job there than working in the fields. Before important events, it's customary to consult an astrologist. Tsering Choden wants to know her chances of participating in the Olympics. The first contest will be in Thimphu. On leaving the house, you must walk eastward. Tsering Choden already participated in the Sydney Olympics and ranked 50th. Getting back to the Games remains her greatest goal. This now seems to be in danger.
He told me that my luck is not very good. So I have to do some pujas for my luck. When my selection is starting, he told me not to come from the north side because my luck is not good. So I think I have to follow all these things.
Tsering doesn't have any professional alternative to archery. In Radi, she might have become a weaver, like so many other women. The weaving art of the little village in the east is well known throughout the country. Months of labor are spent on many a piece woven of wool, yak hair, or silk. The Bhutanese value their clothing and quality fabrics highly, even in everyday life. In Thimphu, however, the fabrics are more expensive, so Tsering is buying a kira, the traditional 3-piece woman's garment in Radi.
You must reckon with 4,500 nultrum. For rough silk kira? Yes.
4,500 nultrum are roughly $100. In front of the shop hangs a prayer wheel. At each turn, a mantra or short prayer will be sent into the world. Many fabrics are only worn on special occasions. They're considered a status symbol and may easily reach a value of $1,200. The simple patterns take about a week's manual labor. Thus, the weavers earn more than their husbands. Consequently, their social status ranks high in the community. The fact that women in the villages do not practice archery is based on tradition. For centuries, the men were the ones who carried weapons to defend the country.
We feel proud to have a sister like her. She is an example for the other lady, like future citizen. They can look at her example, and they can also, it will be a way of like encouraging the young citizens. So like they can copy from her, they can say that everything is possible for women also.
Recently, I read exactly the reverse in the paper. What times are these when women practice archery, it said. The article was written by a woman. I take it she just resented me for my success and for not being able to shoot an arrow herself.
They used to think that the women working at home, they have to cook food, look after the baby, and that is their job. They used to think in the past, but nowadays the world has changed that every woman is given chance to participate in everything like job, and we have so many examples. Still it is happening in Bhutan that we daughters, we get a land, and the husband used to come to our place and they have to depend on us. So since we are having land, so when they goes, then we can say we can chase that person, and we don't have to suffer.
At 8 in the morning, Dicky and her son Rintin are on their way to school. Rintin is lucky that his mother is teaching in a school nearby. Many students have to walk 1 or 2 hours each day. Education is free in Bhutan. Tsering Choden went to school here as well, until the 9th grade. Then the family moved to the capital and she started her training to be an archeress. Apart from the usual subjects, family planning and hygiene are taught, as well as ethics and sociology. The children praise the Buddha of wisdom in a prayer.
How do you talk with your friends?
Dicky teaches English in 6th grade. The children start learning the foreign language in 1st grade. Today's subject, writing a letter. There are 19 different dialects in Bhutan. In order to communicate throughout the country, English is the 2nd official language. The rise in the level of education also has its drawbacks. There are only a small number of qualified job opportunities.
Most of the child, when they come to school, they like to search a job after graduate from the college, and they don't like to go back to country, that is countryside, that is village, So in that way, when they don't get job and they become spoiled person in middle, so we will have so many thieves and other people roaming around without a job.
Environmental education is one of the most important concerns of the government. The students are preparing tree seedlings to be planted. 30 years ago, the king declared environmental protection as a government objective.
And they are supplying or they are funding every year the nature clubs in all the schools in the kingdom by giving 4,000 nutram. And our aim is to keep some members in the club, and major intention is to create some interest with nature, so that when they are coming as the future citizens, so at that time they will take care of their kingdom, they will take care of forests, they will take care of plants and animals. And this country is a gifted one, so they can learn more about nature. Bird watching is there, trekking is there, nursery is there. These saplings we are supplying to different schools.
Tomorrow is the contest with the neighboring village Tashigang. The archers of Radi are going to the temple to receive the Lama's blessing. For centuries, the common belief was that through these matches, the fate of the contesting villages was destined. The village of the losing team was threatened by a bad harvest or thunderstorm. This challenge is still taken seriously in Radi. One of the archers offers a coin at the altar. The Lama will invoke the good fortune of the archers, an historic tradition from war times. Ghosts and demons of the Buddhist mythology are closely connected with archery. They can either help or hinder the archer in his battle. Here, too, the astrologist decides on further proceedings. The first arrow is to be shot at 6 in the morning. The archers facetiously mention their concern of too many rounds. The opponent is strong, and the disgrace would be immense. Meanwhile, Tsering Choden's aunt is preparing her return to the mountain village.
If you feel ill, go to the hospital. Take care. You won't be coming back for a long time, will you?
Aunt Amchi doesn't know when she will see her niece again.
They all live so far away. It's very painful. I'm all alone.
The archers are not allowed to spend the night before the battle with their wives. They meet in the house of a bachelor. The bow gets its finishing touches. The weapon may not be touched by women. Dancing and singing need preparation too. Each move, every gesture is part of the ritual and strictly defined. They sing poetic songs which praise and appease nature, and emotional verses of archery and love. At the stroke of 6, as the astrologer advised, the symbolic first arrow is shot. The demon Mara, made of dough the previous night, is carried over the arching site and strewn with rice, a purifying sacrificial ritual. Black magic is also involved. A cloth with menstrual blood is hidden in the tree along the way to the arching site. The opposing team will walk underneath and lose strength. The Tashigang team prepares itself. The load on the string is 30 kilos. A cloth protects the arm from the backlashing string. The contest is opened by the Tashigang team. Each team consists of 11 archers. The distance to the target is 475 feet. That is more than twice the Olympic distance. Tashigang quickly takes the lead. The team from Radi and its supporters are disappointed. 2 or 3 hits per hour are already a success at this distance, a test in patience for the audience. Narrowly avoiding the arrows is a sign of courage. The Tashigang team gloats. Radi takes to the last resource. Village girls irritate the opponents by doubting their virility. Again, Tsering can only watch. The village rules differ from those at the international games. Each team brings their own cheerleaders. The game ends 7-0 for Tashigang. The mayor has to acknowledge the defeat. The winning team receives a prize of $80. Tsering Chodan will present it. Followed by a demonstration of her skills. Now some of the men try to compete against her. They don't have much success. Later in the evening, playing cards scatter the tables. A favorite pastime in Bhutan. They play for money. The conversation becomes personal. Tsering got married 8 months ago, her sister 6 years ago, but her husband left her and their son Rintin. Marriage and divorce are common in Bhutan. Patchwork families are standard rather than an exception.
Then I heard that he was having a lady, but maybe I didn't talk in middle, I didn't make call, thinking that now he has got another woman in his life. So we got divorced, thinking that another woman is there in his life. So I don't want to share the husband with another woman.
What he said like, she is not his wife, not his wife. And like, this guy is not his child. And she's trying to hide all these things, and I'm not feeling good. That's why like she don't want to share, but like I'm not feeling happy. I have to tell her like that. And my father was really mad because like this, like you can't blame him, no, like because like he's very young.
The Tsong in Tashigang, the village next to Radi. The huge 17th century fortress serves as a monastery as well as the seat of the local government. With the whip, the master of discipline calls the novices to morning prayer. In a little side temple, Tsering Choden and her relatives are praying. Prayer in the most important temple of the region closes the 2 weeks visit. Tsering will leave early tomorrow morning. The prayers in the Tashigang monastery are considered to be very effective.
I came here to temple to visit, and I did some prayers. Like I believe, like if we do some prayers and good pujas, our dreams come true. And I did prayers for my Olympics. I hope to go to Olympics, and I ever get a chance to go to Olympics. I hope to do well than what I did in the last Olympics.
At 6 a.m., the bus leaves to Thimphu, the capital of Bhutan. The ride will last well over 20 hours with an overnight stay. Saying goodbye is difficult, especially for little Rintin.
I like to go to town and wants to know more about the other people and about other countries. I want to learn something. If I stay in a village, I don't get any news from any other people. I am always with my relatives and within friends only. I stay, like my routine is always same. Every day I have to wake up early in the morning. I have to go in a field to work, and I'll be going to the bed very late. And these things I don't like. When you come to the village, you feel like you are a very big star, and like when you come to the town, nobody gives, like, don't worry, nobody cares about you. So like, it's okay, but.
Tsering lives under enormous pressure. Many people expect her to perform at the highest level. Her parents, the fans, the officials of the league, and not least, herself.
Just now my worries is like whether I will be getting selected for my tournament or not, because like I haven't practiced much, and that's all. Like, but if I happen to get selected, and my worries will be whether I will do well in Athens, whether I will get medals or not.
It's almost 400 miles to Thimphu. The longest straight stretch is about 500 yards. The rest is serpentines. Since 1965, this road, which leads all the way to India, has been a continuous construction site. It was Bhutan's first connection with the outside world. The narrow road, called East-West Highway, has become the lifeline of many mountain villages. Without it, they would still be sleeping beauties. Nature still dominates. Man just leaves a narrow track in the jungle. "70% of the country is covered with forest. A quarter of Bhutan is under nature conservation. Deforesting and hunting are prohibited. Consequently, there is an abundance of species. Tigers, leopards, pandas, and innumerable bird species inhabit the hazy forest. The king values environmental protection more than economic interests. Some call this an eco-dictatorship. To others, it's a role model of development policy. The highest pass, at 12,500 feet, offers a view of the Tibetan mountain range with its famous peaks. The bus stops in Ura, one of the few villages along the road. It's dominated by a Buddhist Nyingmapa temple. The village, at an altitude of 10,000 feet, is surrounded by potato fields, ensuring the inhabitants a comfortable income since the construction of the road. The passengers of the bus eat dinner. Their journey will continue very early in the morning. Tsering Choden decided to stay an extra day and catch the next bus. She wants to see today's celebrations at the Ura temple. The beginning marks a fire cult. The proceedings are wild, almost aggressive, but characteristic for a tantric custom. It is a mass blessing. All the impurities of the previous year are burnt by jumping through the fire. For the celebration, the most important relic of the village is taken from the small to the largest temple. The whole village congregates for the procession. Guests are always welcome, thus Tsering Choden joins in. The procession stops at intervals. A jug with the alcoholic ara is consecrated and passed among the believers.
Hola, sekarang sih. Itu dah benda.
Chetsu. That is what the celebrations honoring Guru Rinpoche are called. The dance of the black-hooded magician banishes the bad spirits from the square. He tells the story of King Langdharma, who had sworn off Buddhism and was killed by a monk with bow and arrow. Tsering is familiar with these chechus from Thimphu. Every celebration is accompanied by atsaras. These clowns prefer young women as subjects for their rude jokes and thus ridicule the seriousness of the sacred rituals. The phallus is meant to banish bad spirits through its sheer appearance, but it's also gladly used for frivolous jests. In this world, nothing would live if he didn't exist. That's right, he has one just like that. Two passes lie between Ura and Thimphu, a constant up and down with differences in altitude of up to 10,000 feet. The Dachula, shortly before the end. Like all passes in the Himalayas, this is a holy place. Tsering Choden follows the astrologist's last advice and hangs a prayer banner into the wind. It is meant to carry mantras into all four directions. Arrival at Thimphu, the capital of Bhutan, has about 60,000 inhabitants. From here, the royal government is guiding the country into modern times and decides whether the people are ready for television, Western fashion, or the internet. International observers view the decelerated march into the future positively. The visa laws set an example. In order to get a visa, travelers to Bhutan have to exchange $220 per day. This will help avoid mass tourism, which is good for the environment and the society. The majority of the people support the king's policy, but globalization is reaching Bhutan and new challenges lie ahead. The training site of the archers. Tsering Choden has resumed her program. The tournament in 4 days will decide who will participate in the Olympics in Athens. None of Bhutan's archers was able to qualify directly for Olympia. The international requirements were too high. But the IOC presented the small Himalayan country with 2 wild cards. With these, 1 man and 1 woman are allowed to go to Athens. The 22-headed team cannot afford a professional coach. Karma, once herself a member in the national team, is training the group for the games. The government has no means to finance better training facilities for its players, one of the reasons why Bhutan currently plays an unimportant role in international competitions. An 8-hour daily training, except for the weekends, is standard. The archers receive $100 per month from the government, barely enough to live on. They train hard. Still, they are considered as athletic elite in the country.
To become an archer, you need to have a physical fit. We had lots of physical and weight training. It's okay, when you're drawing, you shoot, then your body becomes relaxed. But sometimes you get tired that you can't release, you have to drop, then your whole body pains. We have so many pain out here. So you have to be strong. So to become a good archer, I think your mental should be very strong. Out here we don't have mental training and all, we don't do yoga and all. We don't have that facility. So we try to do it ourselves.
On a shopping spree with her best friends from the team. Boutiques like these can only be found in the capital. But even for the athletes, most of the goods are unaffordable. Native merchandise is less expensive, and the cost of living in town is high enough as it is. With her monthly income, Tsering Choden lives better than most other Bhutanese swarming into the capital. The increase in poverty is already obvious in many parts of town. The weekly vegetable and fruit market. Apart from chili, without which no meal is complete, fern fronds and bitter melons are being sold. Tsering Choden's mother, Yeshi, sells goods at the market. Since she is no farmer, she obtains her vegetables from the warm south. The family's kitchen. On weekdays, the mother does the cooking. Today is Sunday, however, and Tsering has the day off. Her mother is still at the market. 3 generations live under one roof. Tsering's niece Kazang, the parents, and Grandma Dima. Eight months ago, Tsering married the national football player Pasang. As customary in Bhutan, he moved in with her.
He enjoys. After he has to enjoy because I am his wife.
Tsering and her husband could afford an apartment of their own, but they decided to stay here.
I don't want to leave my parents because my sister is not here, brother is not here, so there is nobody else. So I don't like my parents to be alone.
The part of the rented house occupied by Tsering and Pasang is crammed with remembrances. Triumphs and defeats, travels around the world, a photo of the Olympics in Sydney.
I was working very hard and then I got medal. It was very exciting. I was crying when I got medal. I was happy, and there are lots of memories in each medals. I was young, I got the medals. It's something very special for me. For Athens, I had gone through so many problems. I couldn't attend in my field. My sister passed away. So many things happened. So I was really worried over my Athens. Whether I will get selected for the Athens or not. But I'm not sure whether I will be going for Athens. But if I happen to go to Athens, I'm sure I'll try to get medals. If not, but do my best to break my records. I will give my best shot.
Now, Tsering Choden's parents support her sports career.
At first I thought, a girl cannot manage this. I didn't achieve anything in my life. But now I'm proud of her.
Her brother was already an archer when Tsering started the sport. Today, Rinzin is a taxi driver in the USA.
I feel so sad. I really miss him. After this medal, he came back to Bhutan, then he left. I feel like crying. I really miss him. He was a very good archer. But I follow his advice. He always said, never to let yourself down. Believe on yourself. Have confidence and always think that you can do it. So everything is possible. And he used to tell me concentrate more when you practice. I was his little sister, so he thinks that when I play archery, I don't concentrate more and like that. So he used to advise me every time, concentrate. I really missed him.
To move abroad like Tsering's brother, that's what many people want. Life in Thimphu is getting harder. Jobs are hard to come by. The unemployed youth gather in the many pool halls of the town.
Still looking for a job. Whatever comes on my way, I find very difficult nowadays.
After all, Dorji Kama went to school for 10 years.
Still unsuccessful.
After graduating, the young people from the provinces come to Thimphu. None of them want to become farmers.
Office job is more comfortable than doing farmer and staying at home.
Today, the decision will be made.
I'm an Olympic archer, and I'm proud to say that. It makes you feel great to say you're part of Olympic, your family of sports. I play archery for my living.
A minister has arrived to watch the competition.
Doing better. Okay.
12 rounds of 6 arrows are shot at the target 230 feet away. The archers have 2.5 minutes for each round. Tsering Chodin quickly takes the lead, closely followed by her fierce competitor, Tashi Dorma. Experience and strong nerves prevail at the men's tryout too. Like Tsering Chodin, Tashi Pelyor competed at the Sydney Olympics. When counting points, the archers monitor each other. The rivalry is great.
I think mentally my brother was weak. That's why he left archery. Maybe that's why he was not feeling good when he comes here, your friends ignore you. But I'm not like that. I'm not going to give up because of them. I'm not going to end up my life because of jealousy, because they don't like me. And whenever I'm not there, I heard from some of my friends, they talk about me, she's like that, she's doing like this, and yeah, that's all. They completely ignore me.
Tsering is far ahead. In the 6th round, she's gained 335 out of 360 points. Her lead seems to be insurmountable. Not only Tashi Dorma is showing signs of nervousness. But suddenly, Tsering interrupts the competition, hands over her bow, and disappears. Flooded with tears, she escapes into the players' room.
I was shooting good for the 6 rounds, and at 7 round, I don't know, suddenly I had a problem with my fingers.
I was working very hard for my Olympics. I knew like I have to go for the Olympics, so like I couldn't stay at home and couldn't help my parents. I came for practice. I worked really hard, and I don't know, like today suddenly it happened. Like I can't pull my string. I've been waiting for this moment for the last 4 years now, and I'm really not happy with what I've done. And I think I won't forgive myself for what I'm doing.
We will select today one man and one woman to go to the Olympics. Doji Dorma came first with 1,180 points, but since he has been our best archer till now, we will give Sring another opportunity to take part. Thank you.
Four weeks later, Tsering Chodon's injury had healed, and she took the test a second time. She surpassed Tashi Dorma's result and consequently received the permission to participate in the 28th Olympic Games in Athens as the only woman of her country.